Hey guys, Rob here with McDojoLife. In today's McDojo news, we're going to talk about how a martial arts student had a heart attack during a class, but luckily, defibrillator saved his life. Let's go check out the story. A UK taxi driver's heart stopped for 20 minutes after he suffered a cardiac arrest at a martial arts class. Paul White, age 64, who lives in Croydon with his wife, Paula, age 68, collapsed during a martial arts class at a church hall in Wimbledon. His class instructor, Paul Hughes, immediately dialed 999 and performed chest compressions. Paramedics from Wimbledon Ambulance Station arrived in minutes and restarted Paul's heart using a defibrillator, a device that resets a person's heart by sending it an electric shock when their heart suddenly stops. Paul said if it wasn't for their help and the use of a defibrillator, it would have been a very different outcome. I'm really fortunate that I'm still alive and didn't suffer brain damage. The taxi driver added, sadly I won't be able to drive a cab again, but I've retained the knowledge that cabbies need, so I'll always be a cab driver at heart. His wife Paula said it was such a shock. He went off to work at 2 p.m., and at 10 p.m., I had the police at my door telling me that they were blue lighting Paul to St. George's Hospital, where he was in critical condition. At first, I thought the police were informing me of his death. Defibrillators and chest compressions do work, and he is living proof of it. If you perform CPR and use a defibrillator in time and do it correctly, people can still be here. I cannot thank the ambulance crews enough. They persevered, shocked him 8 times, and now I have my husband back. After 2 weeks in St. George's Intensive Care Unit, Paul was transferred to the Royal Brampton Hospital in Chelsea, where surgeons replaced his heart valves and inserted an implantable cardioverter defibrillator into his heart to keep it at a normal rhythm. Paramedic Laura Smith, who was the first to arrive on scene with her crewmates John Beer and Millie Hurst, said, "I'm so pleased that Paul is doing so well and has made an excellent recovery. I joined the ambulance service in hope of stories like Paul to be able to save someone's life not only for themselves but also for their loved ones like Paula. With every patient, we do our absolute best to make that happen." Since then, the 64-year-old and his wife Paula raised over $1,000 with their neighbors by taking on the London Ambulance Charity's first ever fundraising walk, the London Life Hike. Funds raised by the hike will help install life-saving devices in the deprived areas of London that need them most. The walk has raised $33,000 and counting for the charity's new London Heart Starters campaign, which aims to improve survival rates for people who experience a cardiac arrest by purchasing additional defibrillators where they are most needed. Recent analysis from London Ambulance Service shows 21 neighborhoods are, quote, defibrillator deserts, where there is no access to a defibrillator, and 129 neighborhoods where there is a limited access to the population nearby. Households in more deprived parts of London are more likely to be in an area in greater need of extra defibrillators. Let's unpack that. So the 60-something-year-old taxi cab driver has a heart attack during a martial arts class. Luckily for him, his instructor thought quickly, was able to call an ambulance and start CPR. By the time the ambulance arrived, his heart had stopped, so they had to use the defibrillator on him 8 times to shock him back to life. This is a super common occurrence. Keep in mind there's about 1,000 cardiac arrests that are treated in the United States every day. That's a lot of people having heart attacks, and if you paid attention to the end of that article, you'll notice that in that area there aren't a lot of defibrillators just kind of lying around. This means if you're a martial arts instructor out there, there is a good possibility that one of your students could go into sudden cardiac arrest during class. Which brings us to the question of the day, brought to you by X Marshall. Be sure to answer the question of the day in the comment sections below, not only so that way I know you watched the entire video, but also to be entered for a chance to win a $100 gift voucher that you could use at xmarshall.com. And hey, maybe you don't win. That's okay. All you have to do is use promo code McDojo10 to get 10% off any of your purchases at xmarshall.com. The question of the day is pretty straightforward, but I'm going to do a 2-parter just in case. 1, does your martial arts studio have a defibrillator on site? Or 2, have you ever been in a situation that required a defibrillator? I've been speaking about this a lot lately, but I want to remind you guys that I am the vice president of a company called Academy Safe. Among a slew of things that we're trying to get martial arts studios to start doing on their own, we're also trying to make sure that they get defibrillators on site. So we reached out to a lot of defibrillator companies and we were able to find one that not only is cheap, but it's state of the art. If you'd like to know more about what we're trying to do with Academy Safe, go to academysafe.org. Currently, there's a waiting list. If you're interested in becoming Academy Safe, you just go to the website, Put your name in and we'll be able to reach out to you once the website's launched, but we're going to be doing big things here soon. As a reminder, be sure to answer that question, the question of the day. I'm curious. I look forward to reading your comments in the comment sections below. As always, thank you all for the likes, comments, shares, subscriptions, memberships. Check out academysafe.org. Keep the martial arts legit.
My baby got robbed the other day by degenerates. So she wanted to learn some new form of this self-defense. So she did her research and perused it online and found this tool said he could move shit with his mind. He called himself Seafood Paul Zimmerman. He got a dojo with a strip mall near Cinnabon. Now she spends all day trying to